Good morning. It is Thursday. What is it? August 11th. It is a little bit later than usual. It's 9:45 a.m. Um, woke up at 9:31 this morning. Going, oh my gosh. So yeah, I was late up late last night. Just kind of slept through everything. Actually, I didn't really sleep through my alarm. I turned off my alarm. Not that I actually get up for an alarm like normal people, but normally it's like, oh, I should probably get up. Going to be productive, but I just slept.
The upside with having your own business, kind of make your own hours.
Yeah,
and it's like I said before we went live, man. You've been running full tilt for several months, so you needed a chance to sleep in, regardless of the TikTok rabbit hole that you went down.
Yeah, well, yes, I did go down a TikTok rabbit hole. Now, sorry,
you're good.
Yes. Okay. So my list yesterday.
About to ask.
These come in pairs. So the first thing I did do is I reached out to TJ, like I did say. The one thing that I forgot, that I was like, I had said it out loud. I was like, what was I forgetting to put on my list? It was work on my air conditioner.
And you talked about it, and as somebody that does some AC work, I should remember that. So,
yeah.
Guess what, Mish? It's my fault.
Yeah. So, and I had this problem a couple years ago, and it's just one of those, window units that is in the wall, and I don't really know how old this thing is. I mean, I know we bought it when we lived here. We've been here for about 18 years, so it could be maybe 17 years old. Don't know exactly how old, but anyway, regardless, we it had, the inside had kind of, there's just like dust and gunk had just kind of filled up, and so it was basically just cleaning it all out so the water had somewhere, the condensation had somewhere to go to get to that little drip hole in the back. So I opened it. I was thinking, okay, well, it couldn't have built up that much in like a year and a half, but I was like, don't know. So I opened it up, and it actually wasn't that dirty. There were some spots where I'm like, it probably could have done this. So I just made sure it was all cleaned up, and I will. I think probably in the next year or so, I'm going to have to get a new one anyway, just because it's old, it's getting tired, But so that was the one thing on my list that I didn't do, and but I did. I finished the newsletter that was sent out. I finished that last night.
Right.
Put out that last night. I put the first coat on the batless, and I actually set it up as 2 because I have not figured out. My brain has not figured out a good way to do both sides at once.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So I had to do one side, and then last night when I came home, I did a second side. So I actually have it needs to be sanded, but this is what we're looking at right now.
Nice. Okay.
So I don't know, the people at home, I'll put it in here so you get a wider screen, but yeah. So
looks good.
So yeah, it actually is pretty good. But of course there's the drips where, it rolled over the sides. I got to sand that, and that first coat. And I don't know why, but that first coat it's always rough. So I'm gonna 400 grit sand it down, make it nice and smooth, and then I'll start. I was actually thinking about taking, like, I have those big clamps, and clamping it and sticking it upright like that, and then doing that, and then it can all just drip towards the back.
Yeah, might not be a bad idea.
But I did get that first coat on because these are going to be covered with red.
Yep.
With the stuff, so I can get that I put clamps on, and then it'll just sit upright. But I might try that. So anyway, don't know if I'm actually gonna get that done today because I have stuff I actually need to prepare the house for me leaving. And then let's see, what else did I get done? So I finished newsletter, did the bat list, fixed air conditioner, called TJ. I intended to follow up on a couple emails after the newsletter because I did that last night, and I completely spaced that. And I did not rewatch Prey, so I've only seen it once, and I really,
I meant to rewatch it myself yesterday, and got sidetracked.
Yeah.
With stuff around the house, and so I'm right there with you, but plenty of stuff to remember from the first watching, so we'll cover that, and then
absolutely. So I got my wife and okay, so from here on out, just for our viewers, this is, even though this is Thursday, Rob is on here because there is no true scheduled show for tomorrow. So basically we're doing the nerd edition on Thursday, the Friday nerd edition on Thursday, and we're going to talk about Prey. So if you have not watched Prey, then you're a fucking loser and just have not taken the time to watch one of the greatest new movies out there,
hands down.
So if you don't have Hulu, that's fine. You probably have a friend who has Hulu. So this is your time to come together as a community, as a bunch of friends, and watch and Prey. Just do it. Like it's an hour and 45 minutes.
Right. Support the indigenous folks that put this together, starred in it, wrote it, produced it, directed it. My God.
It's just, I was talking to Bram last night. Bram does not have Hulu, but he thinks he can watch Hulu through his cable company, because there's some cable companies that give you free access to different things. So he's gonna check. But I told him, I was like, dude, I said, if your cable system doesn't give you access through it, just sign up for a free week, watch the movie, and cancel it. That's all you need to do. That's
watch Old Man, or The Old Man, and watch Prey, and then especially Bram. He would love that.
Oh my gosh. And that, let's see, I did watch, because we watched the first 4 episodes, and then I think we watched the 5th episode, maybe the 6th episode. So we haven't finished Old Man, but yes, Old Man is another fantastic show. Really, really, really well done. So all that being said, spoilers ahead.
Lots of them
from here on out. Nobody's watching right now, but if you're watching this not live, just be warned. There you go.
Whenever I'm on the show, nobody watches, but when Lisa's on the show, everybody watches.
Well, and that's what I was telling Lisa. We were talking about what time we were going to leave tomorrow, and I told her that we may do just a show on the road, and I said it'll be funny. I said, because we're just going to be on the road. It'll just be that random, hey, and we'll just chat for a little bit, whatever, and we'll have 20 people watching, and it'll just be the two of us in a truck. So we do actually have one person watching, and there's a and it's Bobby. So I don't know if it's Bobby, actually. So Bobby, I haven't watched Prey yet. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Go watch Prey. Go watch Prey. Okay. So yeah, that's what he says. I haven't watched Prey yet. Go watch Prey.
Well worth it, buddy.
Yes. Okay, so my first thoughts of the movie. I sometimes gauge movies as like, do I look at the time? How many times do I look at the time? Do I, how immersed am I feeling in the movie? Like that kind of stuff. Not once did I wonder how much longer in this movie.
Right.
Not once was it like I just felt I felt the movie had a great pace. Of course I am a fan, but then again, I am a fan of Star Trek, and I fucking hated Into Darkness. Like I watched half the movie like this. So it was one of those where I never there was nothing that I was like, it's like, oh, they did that. It was more like, oh, they did that.
Right.
Oh, because of course at the end there's that huge Easter egg that I'm just like, no way. But through it, I was like, oh, that was a kind of cool nod.
Right.
Oh, I kind of like that. And it was also one of those. It's like, okay, I can see the connection that they're trying to make, and some of the same things like they did with the regular, the Predator 1 and Predator 2, but it was like their own. Like it was like, for me, it was subtle.
Yeah,
it was subtle. Like when she's in the quicksand going towards the roots, yes. I'm like, totally, that's a nod to Predator 1.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally. Absolutely. But the thing is that it wasn't like the end where she was all covered with dirt like Arnie was. But it was like there was that intense scene, like you don't know, like the dog isn't there. Like we don't know if the dog is alive or not. We don't know if the predator is, where the predator is. And you're just like, oh my, it was just, yeah. So it was like kind of their own twist on that same type of thing. But then with, what was it, with the flower petals and whatever root that she had, that essentially had the same effect.
Right.
And sure, her kind of clicking, we're like, wait a minute, you can't see them. That was just so cool.
They did a lot of really good things. So like, obviously when she's using the orange petal herb mix, they actually use it earlier on, showing what it's treated for, how it cools the body. Oh, he's freezing. Get him by fire. No, let him be cold. That's how he's going to heal. Like they give everything legitimate in-world use.
Yeah.
And so when she has that moment of like, oh, something tells me he's seeing the warmth of them or their blood or something. Yeah. And then she gives it to that guy. I really think it was an experiment. Like, shove it in his mouth. Let's see what happens. He goes crawling, and then he just kind of lays there. Oh, yep, nope. That was it. That's what, oh my God, I was right. So like, I like that a lot of it was her figuring stuff out. One of my buddies and I were talking about it after we watched it, and he's like, dude, he goes, this is one of the things I hate about Predator movies. He's like, these guys have this amazing technology, cloaking and all this other stuff, and they get beat with spears and rocks. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. First of all, 700 years. I mean, we're 300 years before Predator, or 200, however you want to do the math. Like we're talking several hundred years before. One of the things I really liked was you could tell that some of this technology he's using is really new. Mm-hmm. The helmet, the tracking lasers and stuff. This is new. This is not something that they've used consistently. And they show that not by saying, oh my God, he must never have used this before. It literally is tracking lasers off. He's shooting out those little rods, and they're veering off. She realizes it. Oh, I see cause and effect, right? Mm-hmm. I see red. Things hit that. Red goes there, things hit that way. Aha. So, like, I like the fact that they implied a lot through that cause and effect, both from the side of the Predator, which, let me say, coolest fucking design of a Predator out of all of them.
Yes.
Bone mask, the tech integrated. I absolutely, I showed Nikki, and I'm like, she watched the half of it with me, and I'm like, I want that mask. Someone will make it, but I want that mask to hang on my wall in my office. Like I do think that's super freaking cool. I just want to hang it up there or make it or something because I like the design. I liked how it worked. But the only complaint I saw somebody put in there was their blood's acidic, and then she coats herself with it and she's not burning. I said, well,
but their blood isn't acidic. It's the alien's blood that's acidic.
There you go. Their blood is green. It's not acidic. Now, if let's say there is some acidic property, I'm going to argue, not really argue it, but let's just say there was. We don't know. She wipes it all off. It comes off. We don't know if that's going to leave scarring lines.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see this character later on. I'd love to see them do something with this. It'd be cool to have a sequel in the same group because we know they've traveled on. Who's to say another Predator doesn't come back? I'd love to see her with scarring.
Yeah,
where the blood was. If you want to go down but it's acidic. They're getting that from, I think it's Predators vs. Aliens, but it's when he took the Queen's finger, ripped it off, and then seared his signature or his clan signature, whatever, into that one chick's face. Again,
but see, that was the Queen. That was an alien,
right?
That's the aliens. Theirs are it's high vis yellow or high vis green. I mean, it's fluorescent. It's fluorescent. So because even in the beginning, in the first movie, where they're shooting into the jungle, and I cannot remember her name, but basically the Vietnamese woman, she's the first one that notices the blood and she touches it. Right. And she just does that. If it was acidic, it would have burned her fingers. So no, it's not acidic.
And that's,
but here's the thing. I can see how people, it's they remember one thing and connect it to something else. So I'm not, but they're wrong.
They are wrong, but but I so much stuff to say. Like, so, I want to talk about the dog for a minute. So,
okay.
Article. This dog, they adopted this dog specific for this movie. Can't remember the breed of it, but it is a breed that would have been around the Comanche time frame. Was the ones that they were starting to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Domesticate.
Thank you. So, period specific animal, got it correct. But I like the fact that they adopted this dog a few days before, and they flat out said, yeah, we trained it pretty quickly, and we didn't really know how it was going to work. And there's some really good scenes. The dog didn't cooperate. There's other scenes that dog did phenomenal. We just didn't know what was going to happen. So it was fun. I love the fact that they integrated, even in the regular English dub, they integrated the correct linguistics. So the Comanche, even though they're mainly speaking English for our benefit, they're still using terminology of the Comanche language without explaining what it is. Again, something I really like because Informant can be a great educator. He was talking about, like, I'm going to butcher the word, so I'm not going to say it. Whatever the starts with the K, but the big thing, like, oh, are you sure this is your Cucamonga? Not to be disrespectful, I just don't remember the word. That's her hunt. That's what she's going after. That's what she's going after. That's her big hunt to prove herself. And it's like, so this is it. This is your target. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I am live. You know that.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you.
Okay. And
scene.
yes,
But she
actually watches this show sometimes.
Right on.
So I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say.
No, there's nothing to say. But no, so like I love the fact that, you know, again, because it's a indigenous, a lot of indigenous folks in the background doing a lot of the stuff. You have the actual indigenous actors hired. You know, a lot of respect was given to what would have been their way of life, and it wasn't shown in a way of like, oh my gosh, they were so savage. They were, you know, they were just this horrible people, and you know, they didn't understand the technology they missed. They didn't care.
Yeah,
they didn't care. It's not that they didn't get it; they just didn't need it.
Right.
You know, one of the big things for me when they run into the French trappers.
Right.
French trappers are treating them like savages because that's what was going on at the time. But on two things. One, you see that all the dead buffalo just skinned. And that was a huge issue for the natives. The natives used, I mean, and for those of you who follow history, you know this, and if you don't, you're going to learn it. They would follow herds of buffalo. That was kind of what a lot of the nomadic groups would do, partly for soil. They'd follow them, and they go and they plant their crops and do what they need to do for a season or two. And there was the buffalo. Buffalo provided meat. It provided bone. It provided leather. It provided fur. It provided everything they needed, as well as helped with the soil through poop, that they would plant crops and then grow and then move on to the next spot. And they had usually 4 or 5 campsites they traveled every few years. Again, everything they did was extremely respectful. You know, and it was period accurate. The trappers were assholes. They would just run up, kill everything. They don't want the meat. They don't want the bone. They don't want anything. They just want the hide. That's what they're making money. So, you know, just again, really well done. Very respectful of the cultures. And then we get into the fighting.
Yeah.
So good. So good. You know, with the night fighting and when she's fighting against not even just the predator, when she's fighting against the other trappers, and just the choreography. My hat goes off to the fight choreographer for making it realistic, for utilizing the weapons individually, not just doing a generic wash of it's a spear and it's going to get broken in half, and now they're Kali sticks, and then one's going to get knocked off, and now she's going to tie a stone to the end. Now it's an axe, and no, she has an axe. She uses a knife. They have spear. They have bow and arrow. Each one gets utilized different. The fact that when her brother's fighting the predator and he's shooting off arrows, slides underneath him, rips an arrow out, shoots it back. I'm like, yes. I mean, a little Lord of the Rings nod, but that was what they would have done. If they can reuse it, they're going to reuse it. So
I also liked how they accurately portrayed true archery, where the arrow is on the opposite side to what you normally would think it would be on.
Correct.
Which is actually how it was done, even in European era. So it's like, because it's funny, because even learning how, when I was learning how to shoot a bow, so everything is set up so it's always on one side. It's like, no, it's actually on. They actually did it on the correct side, as opposed to what we're always supposed to be on. So,
no, just the attention to detail, the cinematography. I still think my favorite shot is as they're running from the predator, really from the first time when he attacks the small recovery party is probably the best way to call them, the group of Comanche warriors that came after the main character whose name escapes me. They're coming back, they get attacked, they're running out of the woods, and they drop into those weeds, and you just see that long shot, birds fly off, see the forest, he's coming, run, boom, boom, and off they go. And the way they shot and the way they cut that with the long shots with the dolly on it, just it was art. It took an action film, and some films do this. It was an action film. It was a sci-fi action film, but it was artistically done. Hi, Tom.
He couldn't get Hulu to work. Oh,
damn you, Hulu!
I'm so sorry. That's okay. You can still listen, but it's, I don't know why it, did you update the app? Did you watch it on your phone? Did you do everything you could have, Tom? I'm giving you shit. Oh, it kept freezing. Well, that's not cool. Well, no, that's totally not cool. Well, I'm sorry you had that experience. So,
I believe they'll be dropping this on Blu-ray at some point. I'm trying to see if they have a date on it. I don't see a date for Blu-ray release.
I don't know when it dropped. This is kind of a left turn at Albuquerque. I did see somebody posting that Lower Deck season 2 is on disc now, that you can get it. So somebody's like, "Oh, I actually got my my Lower Decks my Lower Decks Blu-ray." So,
well, it sure as shit is. Amazon's got it for $20.
yeah.
I could get it by default, but I have Paramount. I don't need it. But
yeah, Tom, you didn't disappoint me. It is what it is.
Tom, technology disappointed all of us.
Yeah,
not you.
Yeah.
And if anything, do what Mish does. Blame it on me.
It's all Rob's fault.
It's all my fault.
There was somebody, one of my friends, and I will not throw them under the bus and say their name, but one of my friends had basically commented, and I don't know if this was after they saw the movie or before they saw the movie, but they were like, they said something like, yeah, Tom says, damn you, Rob.
Dude,
like,
I'm telling you, Tom, I'm making a shirt. I'm making a shirt. Artisan Martial Arts on the front, the whole logo and everything, and on the back, Rob, it's all your fault. That's it.
Yeah. But anyway, so he had said this friend of mine had said, are you expecting me to believe that some anorexic girl is going to beat a predator? I may have mentioned this yesterday. I can't remember if I mentioned this yesterday. But here's the thing. Take martial arts. Okay. It's not the size. Like, just remember what Yoda says, do you judge me by my size? No. It's like, size matters not. It's all about cunning. That's how you don't beat somebody out of strength. That's, it's good body mechanics. It's cunning. It's tactics. That's how you win.
And that's what she did.
And I wouldn't say that she was anorexic at all.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I have this one 12-year-old student, and we were working on applications for Middle Strike. And one of the applications that I teach is that cross hand grab to the bicep, and then you come up and you lock them to strike into 21.
Okay.
And this is the first time I had actually grabbed her upper arm, and I grabbed that bicep, and she's skinny, but it was like grabbing a baseball bat. It was fucking solid. Mm-hmm. And I just it was like I grabbed, and then she couldn't do the technique because she's like, oh my God, the look on your face just changed. Cause I was like, I grabbed, and I was thinking like, holy fuck, this is going to hurt if she does it right.
Yeah.
And that was just locking. That's just to lock my wrist.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh my God. I was like, and I told her, I was like, Allie, I was like, you cannot tell me that you can't do some of this shit. I was like, your arm is solid. Like, she'd like a little fucker strong. So, so it's one of those where it's like, no, you don't. I mean, you can tell if somebody's anorexic or not. This girl was not anorexic, and if she's if you take somebody of that stature and of that in that time period, she probably is just all muscle anyway. So yeah. And but here's the thing is that she did not beat the Predator with strength.
Nor did she beat it alone.
No, right. But it was all tactics and cunning. And yeah, it was, yeah. I thought that was towards the end where I don't know what it was, but the Predator is screaming and she grabs and rips the tooth out and then jabs it in the guy in his thigh. I'm like, oh my God, that was wicked. Which I also thought was pretty cool. So I liked, to me it was like obviously if we go off of the history of the Predators, this is not their first time on Earth. If we count the Alien versus Predator stuff, which is kind of one of those where, do we really want to put that as part of the timeline? But if they are, this is not the first time on Earth, but this may be the first time that they've entered this region. And so you have this Predator who, what has he been hunting? He hunted, all right, Tom.
Thanks,
See
Tom.
you later. He was hunting wild animals,
right.
Hunting a wolf, hunting a bear, hunting, and then he realizes, wait a minute,
there's better prey.
Wait a minute, these those were fun to hunt. I'm a hunter, but here's another creature that there's a little bit of intelligence. There's going to give me a little bit more bang for my buck. And so was this that first interaction of the Predator race and humans? I kind of got that. I kind of got that from this, because if he was there to hunt humans, he would have been hunting humans right off the bat, but he wasn't. So yeah, so I thought that was, because once he hunted that, once he took out the that small band who went after the female character, it was almost like, I'm going to start going after these guys. This is fun.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt on, like, when he was going against the wolf.
Yeah.
I mean, he got the fucker bit him like big time in the leg.
Yeah.
Which I really love how he got the what was it?
I called his back.
Her brother had took the skull and then dug the teeth into his thing. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so Jason's on here. He says, I thought it was pretty weak myself. The whole movie?
Yeah, I'm curious what you felt was weak. Not that I'm gonna try and change your mind, but because everyone's gonna have their own opinion of everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, because I've had a few other people that were like, I don't see it, and these are the same people that I have conversations with. They're like, you didn't like Orville? Like, the first several episodes were the best they've ever done. I'm like, were they though? So yeah. I'm all about dissenting opinions and variants. And you may bring up a point that I look at you and go, yeah, I mean, I get it. But I like the fact that, and here's the kick, right? We're talking about tactics and this one girl. It was not one girl, right? He had multiple engagements. He ran out of his first aid. I always call it his back to tank, right? He ran out of that. You see him as he's trying to heal up his leg and he's shaking it and it's kind of sputtering. So he's out. He can't seal up all of his wounds. So it's this accumulation of all these injuries and exhaustion and everything else that's going on. And then her tactics, he wasn't expecting it. She lures him in. She sets up his mask, knocks off his mask when she realizes that's the biggest threat, knocks it off, has it set up, is waiting. All right, I know at some point he's going to get pissed off and use those spikes at him. But I remember the red color is where it goes, and here it is, and he kills himself. It's really what it was.
The one thing that I do like, I like that scene, and I love how she catches him at the end with that, but he's not wearing the mask,
right?
So he still shoots off those things,
right?
Knowing that the lasers are it's going to go where the lasers are pointing. So why did he still use that?
Which is where my theory goes back to, like I said in the beginning, of I think all that was new technology. Because if you're not fully up to speed on all this stuff, and you're used to, let's just say for sake of argument, they're not used to a targeting system. They're used to point, shoot, and fire. Forgetting that now it's these smart lasers are involved. He's tired, he's hurt, he's frustrated. He just shoots him out, forgetting that there's this targeting system now that would explain it. Which they don't explain it, right? But to me, that's that. There's a lot of that happens in that, where there's malfunctions. It happened earlier on where the mask got knocked off and he was still shooting at people earlier on when they were fighting the trappers and stuff, and you're seeing the bolts shooting off to the left, and he gets frustrated and then he just starts ripping guys to shreds, pops out his blades, starts cutting them up. Plus, you got to remember, even though the Predators, just like the Hirogen, Predators are, a race that they love the hunt, but everyone's going to be a different quality.
Right.
They're not all super hunters, right? They're all going out for trophies to become an amazing hunter. Right, how many trophies did this guy have? We have really no idea. We see basically I would almost call it a xenomorph skull mask. This is how it kind of came across to me, like the top of the Queen's skull that he's using. Maybe he's really good. Maybe he's not. That was my thing.
I didn't even make that connection. I'm going to have to go back and look. That's interesting.
Watched it once, just like you. But that was the visual. I went, holy shit, that looks like the top of a xenomorph queen.
Okay.
Like that was.
I'll have to go back and look now. Jason first commented on Facebook, but I think this is his YouTube persona. Anyway, the natives were stereotyped. Her war paint, even while sleeping, it was a CW DC show quality movie. The monster was the best part.
So the monster was really good. Now here's the thing with the war paint, right? So the assumption is they were going to wash it off. Again, they're not constantly bathing every day. As someone that's part Native American as well, I'm Cherokee Nation. So there is some of that where sometimes, dependent upon the nation itself, war paint in a lot of ways is almost like a tattoo. You've earned it and you wear it. So there's a difference between the war paint and your earned visual title, if you will. And that's kind of what they're implying with the Comanche. Comanche had a lot of different paint styles that they would utilize on their body and on their face. So I don't know necessarily enough about the Comanche nation to speak educatedly on this and just say, oh, well, it was this. But a lot of times, again, that is showing they have earned certain things. They've done certain things. Because you notice not every single one of the Comanche warriors, not all of them had as in-depth paint as her brother, who then later becomes the war chief. Same thing with her. She only had very specific stylized paint on her face. It's also kind of like makeup. In some nations, it's things to accentuate them. So I don't see that as stereotyping, especially with the way they handled the interactions in camp. It was very accurate to what was going on in the 1700s with the nomadic style, where they're nomadic at certain times and certain seasons, but not all the time. They settle down for a while. They stay for a spot. Then they move on, which is what happens at the end of it. They're like, hey, it's time to wrap it up and go. It's the end of that season anyway. So I don't know if I agree with the stereotype. I understand where you're coming from. I do. And again, I don't know enough about the Comanche peoples to say the parts and pieces about the specifics of their makeup and what it stood for. But usually in Native cultures, there is something beyond it, not just for war. There's usually it's a title, it's a rank, it's a designation, if you will, within their role within the nation.
Mm.
Same thing why she wasn't getting too much flack for trying to be a hunter, because in other nations, women were hunters. Women were mainly gatherers, but there were female hunters as well, much like with the Nordic groups. Vikings were not always men. There were women involved in it as well. So that's another thing to just kind of throw out there. But I agree, the monster was the best part. But I personally, as someone that is native, I enjoyed how they approached it.
Yeah. There's going back to the head, I'm totally going to have to watch it again. And in fact, I'm going to do, see if we can come up with, we can get a good picture. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I'm going to, how are we going to do this? Share. Let's see. I don't know how that comes up. Okay. So let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Oh, shoot. Didn't. That's weird because I can make it bigger on that tab.
But you can't do it.
Oh, wait. No, I know what I did. Okay, hold on a second. Remove, share. Oops. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting. All right. So Jason, SEC, they were Peter Pan, quote unquote, Indians. Comanche would never have had a female. There wore Pawnee headdresses. There were loads of just, well, this looks, quote, native. Nice that they were played by natives. War.
Yeah.
War, not war. Okay. I see what you're saying. They wore, as in war, WARE. Okay. They wore headdresses. So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I know the director, the writer, and several producers were also, several of them were full-blood natives. So I know they were trying to be very period accurate as well as respectful, of course, the indigenous nature. So again, I don't know enough about the Comanche to really refute what you're saying. So, I got to trust that you've done your research and look it up on my own too. Again, I didn't take it in a negative way. I feel like regardless of the fact that they did have indigenous actors playing the roles and speaking the language, could there be inaccuracies? Yeah, absolutely. I just still didn't take it as stereotypical. To me, stereotypical is the guy that walks up and says, "Oh, white man, I see you have a boomstick. I will trade you 5 fur for boomstick so I can kill great beast hunting in wood." I mean, to me, that's stereotypical, right? But political and culturally insensitive. But again, those are my takeaways, and I don't know enough about the Comanche history and tribe to really speak to it.
Okay, see if I can do that. I don't know if that really blew that up or not. So
it did on our end.
Yeah. So I wonder if I can totally tell. I can see the alien, the queen type of the fanning out. But looking at it more, it's almost like that's bone that's been sewed together, almost.
Right. Or it could be. See, and that's the thing. Like I said, when I was watching it, again, I only watched it once, but when I was watching it, I didn't see all the lines. But then again, skulls aren't always clean, right? You have those fuse points.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm trying to pull up a picture of the Xenomorph Queen's head. Queen head. I'm gonna send this to you because I think it's a good picture.
Okay.
It's not 100% accurate if we're comparing visually, but you kind of see that some of those similarities in that image sent to you on Facebook.
Yeah. So,
or it could just be something else that he hunted. But to me, that was my first thought.
yeah. So to Jason's credit, I mean, of course, I knew nothing, but when it really comes to what's it called? When it comes to Hollywood portraying potentially say that it was, because doesn't it start out with almost like a voiceover? Doesn't it start out with a voiceover of like something about the shoot.
I'm trying to remember if it did.
Hold on a second. This is Mish. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm live right now. Yeah. Well, actually, that's what we're doing. Rob and I are actually talking about Prey right now. So I'm having I am. We're talking Prey from the new Predator movie. Yeah. Yeah. I can totally do that. All right, bad. Bye. All right.
So I want to read this real quick just because I did want to look it up. I knew somebody was going to write something there.
Yeah.
About it. Hey, Jason, I'm just being very clear. I'm not trying to dispute your point and you're feeling it. Just reading off this article here. Again, I don't know enough to speak about it, but so it says Prey has been praised by members of its cast, specifically Julian Antelope Black, for the efforts made by the production to portray the Comanche culture in the most historically accurate manner possible. Producer Jane Myers, herself Comanche and Blackfoot lineage, served as a historical advisor on Prey's portrayal of the Comanche Nation. In that endeavor, it is safe to say that Prey did its job very well. Scrolling through, the Comanche clothing and village setting dotted with teepees seen in Prey are very true and accurate to the real-life counterparts. The Comanche hunting lifestyle is also quite accurate to them as a society, with the movie also depicting the hostility of French settlers towards the Comanche. However, this element can be taken as an amalgamation of European settlers arriving in America and showing hostility towards native tribes rather than the French. And then they talk about the language after that. So, they really didn't say much around it, but again, I don't know enough about it, but when one of the producers is also the historical reference and she is of Comanche Nation, there's probably some variances on both sides, right? There might be, oh yes, they primarily do hair, with the headdresses and stuff like that, but that's more ceremonial versus an everyday. I again, not an expert in it, not really going to kind of, again, dispute your point, just bringing up, what I kind of found on Screen Rant, speaking specific around the accuracy.
Now, one of the things that like we also have to.
Good point. Good points.
Yeah. So one of the things is that regardless of how historically accurate any movie is, it still has to be Hollywoodish. So I would see that, nothing can be perfectly portrayed. Even though we would like stuff to be perfectly portrayed accurately, it's Hollywood. So nothing really can be. Like there's got to be some Hollywood. So I would actually, I remember there was a show or some, I don't know if it's YouTube or a TV show. They would go, is this Hollywood or history? And they would take different movies and they would be like, okay, this part of the movie, this was very historically accurate. You know, this is how they would have talked. They would have had this, they would have had that, but it was, or be like, no, this is totally Hollywood. This was done, you know, to make an exciting movie, that kind of stuff. So, but I would like to see them do so, you know, for us who are not totally versed, you know, because we can go off the articles, that kind of stuff. Now, my buddy Dion, he says, good movie, bad wire work gags.
I know the scene you're talking about. I will not, as a former stuntman, I will not disagree. Overall, the stunts were good, but there were times they used wires they didn't need to, and some of the wire work was
okay. What scene? What specific scene are you talking about?
There was two. One, when she's up in the tree with the mountain lion and falls. They used basically they used a rig to slow the descent.
Okay.
Needed. They could have green screened it. Could have done a couple other different ways. And then I think there's another spot where I believe it was Naru, the girl. She flies up onto the predator, and they wired her up. Again, wasn't needed, but just to give her extra height, they kind of did that for that shot. But was it needed? And then they did a lot of ratchet pulls on the guys that get knocked off. They ratchet pull them back, so they go back 20, 30 feet.
Kind of like over. Okay.
A little overkill at times. I mean, it didn't take away because I was more focused on the overall action. But Deon's a really good point too.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, God, I'm just getting on. So John Ralston, who chimes in on here every now and then, he actually called, but I'm getting all these spam calls this morning. What is it? So at the very, very end, we get the handing off of the gun.
Right.
That the same gun that the Predator gives Danny Glover's character at the end of Predator 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was actually talking to somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, I didn't get the, you know, she gave the chief a gun." And it's like, no, but she gave the chief the same gun that the Predator gave Danny Glover in 2. They made this connection, and I thought that was really cool. Now I know that I was reading an article about how I guess they what is it, in the comics they basically told the story of how the Predator got that gun from that guy. And so how this kind of retcons that. But if I go off of my, canon versus expanded universe, is that because my rules, like for Star Trek, is TV, you know, in the rules of what is canon, TV comes first, movies come second. Books are technical manuals written by people who work for the show, come third, and then everything else, like novels come next, comics come after that. So there's this hierarchy of what is canon and what is not. Yes, they did retcon it, but now it's in the movie. The movie makes the connection. That story now is we'll just call that Disney. And isn't Hulu is Disney. So it's now a Legends.
That's it. Just like all my Star Wars stuff.
But I read an article, and I don't know if you read something similar or heard this too, is like when they were looking, they wanted to have that connection. They wanted to, you know, this period piece, and they're like, oh, we could use that gun. And make that as part of this. They couldn't find the original prop, and so it had been destroyed or whatever, because it'd been 20 years, 30 years, however long it's been since that movie came out. And so one of the producers was just randomly like flipping through, like they just searched that gun on the internet and found a fan who had made their own prop based off of what they saw in the movie and what was historically accurate for that type of gun, and just made it for himself. It's like, this is my version of what would have come out of this. And they reached out to him and was like, hey, we're making a movie.
Can we use this?
Can we use that?
That's awesome.
And so here's this fan who just made this prop for himself that is now in the movie. And it's just like, what? That's like a fan's dream come true.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, yeah. So I thought that was really, really cool that they couldn't get the original prop because it had been destroyed or whatever. So they just got it from a fan, which I just thought was so wickedly cool.
So,
but what does that say though?
Right.
About how does that predator get the gun? Like, of course they come back. But is this a way to tell another story?
So, and I will say,
forward 50 years or something like that.
Right.
You
have this older Comanche woman who's telling this story. No one believes her, and here comes another predator. I think that there's a lot they can do. Hey, Emmett. It
is evening for you, sir. It is still morning for us.
And I will say, thankfully, I am 10 days of insurance clean. I dealt with a claim this morning from a guy that texted me. It was like, hey, can't go hold my adjuster. Can you help me out? Yeah, here's his information. I've sent it on to the guy covering my desk. But I'm recovering from surgery. Sorry. So I know you're dealing with the day-to-day, but just someone that can commiserate. I've been clean from the insurance world for give or take 10 days.
Yeah.
I got 5 more.
And even Emmett, so as we were leaving yesterday, as I was logging off yesterday, I saw Emmett's thing saying, "Hey guys." So,
but I will. So my cousin Vern Crowfoot is a black powder specialist. He's worked on Patriot and a bunch of other movies, and having worked with him before with black powder, one of the things I absolutely loved was her misfire with the guns, because that's accurate. I mean, if you don't know how to load it and prime it, you're not going to get it. So I enjoyed it. Again, for me, it's always a lot of times little things. That was one of those little things that I'm like, she's never used this. Don't tell me she's going to be able to load this. And he's going like, put on a little bit, not too much, not too little, just right. And then pack the cotton in the ball and then add a little more and then put a little powder in it. There's no way she's going to, nope, she didn't. Okay, cool. That was, I got a giggle out of it, but.
Yeah. So Jason said there is a version of the film released in Comanche. The word is it's a little different.
So that was one of the things that I wanted to watch yesterday. I am going to watch it this weekend. I got book stuff. I have to finish up working on some of my book, but I did want to watch the Comanche version. I did hear that both some of the dialogue as well as some scenes were different. So, I do want to check that out. I don't know how much different, but
when so my version of Hulu is through the Apple TV, and so when you go to basically to the movie page where it says play trailer, it says Comanche Expanded Edition.
Okay. Mine isn't called expand. It just says Comanche dubbed version on mine. But so if it is expanded, there's probably a little bit more scenes.
Well, I think it does say dubbed, but it does. I swear it said expanded.
Expanded.
So it could be, that would be cool, because that was also my goal. Is before this show was to watch it, just so I could have, we could talk about the differences.
Yep.
But yeah, that's got to plug in the laptop.
I learned my lesson. I have my extension cable out here already.
Yeah, no, I had already, it was already low. And yesterday I did the entire show. I started out at like 31%, and then I ended it at 22%. But with sharing and I don't know why it would, I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. I just made sure that I was plugged in just in case. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, because I wanted to watch it again in English, and then watch it again, or watch it then in the Comanche dubbed.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Emmett says, my mind's a bit blown this week. It's probably old news in the States and a little bit off topic, but there's a new console from Atari for us old guys that remember the king of gaming.
What? Okay, hold on, Emmett. I'm looking that up right now.
Interesting. So I have a newer Atari 2600 that has all the games kind of programmed in. You can hook it up to the TV via HDMI. It's got the old style controllers that are Bluetooth, and it's just not the same.
It's called and Emmett, I think this is the one you're referencing, the Atari VCS 800. Yep. $400, at least, GameStop. I gotta open this up. Discover new and classic games on Atari's new open platform powered by AMD Ryzen with Radeon graphics technology. Watch your favorite web-based streaming videos and entertainment. Play games at up to 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. Develop new TV-based games and apps for yourself, your family, or to share with the community. And with the Atari VCS Sandbox mode, unlock freedom and versatility you can't get with any other home entertainment system. Includes the base as well as the classic joystick and modern controller. Console comes with 8 gig RAM, fully upgradable, and users will experience an ever-expanding Atari world of all new games, classic and remastered favorites, streaming, multimedia, and personal apps, or can easily make their own. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. So I just brought this up on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh shoot, I didn't want that. Forward. There we go. Yeah. So if we look at let's kind of come up in the pictures. Maybe this is just going slow because it's streaming.
Yeah.
All right.
But you got the old school wood panel on the front. You've got the ridged edge on the top. That's gorgeous.
Okay, so you've got the old style controller.
Yep.
And you've got a new style controller. I don't know if this is coming up.
I think it's out.
Okay, when I hover over, does that blow up?
Oh yeah, we see it.
Okay, good. Let me get back to that.
Sorry guys, we'll talk about Prey in a minute. This is more important.
This is like Emmett put us on a little squirrel. Okay, so it looks like some USB, HDMI, Ethernet, all on the back. What a sleek design!
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hot.
So you got the original controller for us old people, and you've got the new controller for the newbies.
I'm wondering, are they going to come out with a Bluetooth Pong controller?
Oh,
that would be.
My gosh!
Sorry if you're listening. Bluetooth Pong controller. Give me my paddles. Play some tennis. Play Pong.
Is the video coming up?
Yeah. Oh, Earthworm Jim. Yard Revenge. Holy shit. I haven't played that ever.
Oh my gosh. like new school and old school video games. Oh
That's
my
awesome.
gosh. Okay.
That's
Here's the Vault trailer.
a command.
Huh.
Oh, they got LEDs on the. Oh.
There's a video for the
Controller.
controller. Okay. Is he turning?
Yeah.
He was turning.
He was turning it.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
A version of Tail Gunner back in the arcades. For anybody watching it, an arcade is where you can take quarters to play a game that's designed to take all your quarters.
This is wicked. Now, my question, I don't know if I it's one of those that, okay, so my question is this, are all those games programmed on that thing, or
Probably.
are you going to need like a membership and need to download those games? Is it going to be like
Like
a
an online
console.
subscription.
yeah.
I don't know. Some people just scrolling through the GameStop thing. One guy just posted, it's a fun little mini PC. I use it for Game Pass, for Xbox Game Pass, and a few recharged games. I've installed Windows 10 as well and run some games from Game Pass for PC.
Oh,
This is probably the best. Is if you grew up with the 2600 as your first at-home video game system, or maybe for some it was the 5200. This is the system for you. It ties in all the nostalgia of the 2600, the 5200, and the 7800 with box art, photos, and information about the games. Also has Wi-Fi or Ethernet. You can pair various Bluetooth controllers with it, use it as a PC, download apps, games, and more. You can subscribe. There it is. You can subscribe to AntStream to play tournaments, find friends, and play more games.
okay.
Boxes are retro cool, and so are the controllers. If you use the wired option on the controllers, the wires are more than long enough so you can be far away from the unit. They can be collaborated, and buttons can be configured on games. Worthwhile system for those reasons if you can get a good deal on it.
Wow. Okay. That's wickedly cool. So my big thing is Mega Mania going to be one of the games that they do? I don't know why. That was one of my favorite Atari 2600 games. And the other problem that is it going to have the joystick problems that the 2600 was inherently known for? Because I remember taking apart, because like the little white plastic piece would crack. And so we would actually take that apart, and then we would to fix those, we would actually take we would bend paper clips and then melt it into the plastic.
Yep.
Because the plastic was so it was just kind of flimsy. So have
Sorry,
they?
I gotta move. I'm gonna kill my camera here real quick. I gotta
Okay.
move. It's raining pretty good.
Oh
I thought it was
shit!
gonna stop, but I'm gonna meander into the kitchen so you guys don't get sick here.
Yeah. So thank you for that left turn at Albuquerque, Emmett. That was very awesome. That was very, very cool. So
Boop. Here we go. All right. Resituated.
yeah.
Those
All right. Okay. So actually, I think what was it? Rotten Tomatoes was giving it a fan scale of like 96.
Yeah.
Like the first week. Well, this is the first week it's out. But like the first couple days, it was like a 96 rating or something like that, and that even critics liked it. So
right now it's a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah. Not that that really means anything, because Rotten Tomatoes can, like, you know, what was it? Was that thunder?
Yes.
Holy
My
shit!
dogs are in, so I'm gonna close the. Oh, they stuck a toy in the door.
Oh, you gotta love kids.
They're the fur kids.
Oh, the fur kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can, like, for those watching, when you got up, it focused on the background. You could see the trees. You know, you can see rain. Like, this is what it is.
That's
like,
Florida.
East Coast and West Coast. Right now, we have nice blue skies.
Yeah, it's probably gonna keep me in the. I feel like I should modulate my voice because it won't change the.
No, it won't refocus.
I'm the shadow guy. Let's see if I do that. There we go. Now I'm back.
That's funny.
Now I'm back. No, that was kind of cool actually. But yeah, no, this is standard Florida. Give it. Let's see, it's 2:00 my time. Give it probably about 25 minutes back to blue sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
I don't
my
doubt it. I don't doubt it. Yeah, it's 71 right now. It's supposed to be 86 today. So
let's see.
But
the weather on my end real fast. It's 80, high of 92. And yeah, within about 5 more minutes, this is going to be gone.
Yeah. Super
hard, nasty, and then dissipates, jumps up to 92. We'll get some rain again around 9, and that's when it hits the 70s is at night.
Okay.
About, I think the low overnight, so 77 by 5 a.m. And then tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we got something coming through. We got nothing but midday. Well, no, that's about normal. That's rainstorms about 3:00 on through the night, coming and going through the rest of the week. So it's about normal.
Fantastic. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I mean, we're the Sunshine State, except during the times that it matters. Now's a great time to go to Disney because everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's raining! It's going to rain all day," and they leave, and then
you go in and it'll be fine. Yeah, got it. I think it's that cue for the natives that the tourists are leaving.
This is I have many friends that have annual passes to the parks.
Yeah,
and one of the jokes that, especially around here, one of the big jokes is you wait until there's a Category 1 or a Category 2 hurricane that's going to come over because the parks won't close.
Right.
1 or 2, nobody goes because they're all, oh my God, it's a hurricane. Floridians are like, whatever. And that's when we all go. And so that's where Disney makes all their money and why they don't close is because we're all like, it's just wind and water. Like there's not a big deal. We're going to, take our ponchos, take an umbrella, whatever. We're going to just go through, or, you get the ever popular Florida man. I can't say I haven't done it. So I wear sandals all the time. When we've gone, my in-laws used to work at Disney. We'd go, it'd be like this. I just take my sandals off, I put them on my backpack, and I just walk around barefoot because it's, massive flooding. I mean, not massive, but, you got water up to my ankles and stuff. Just walk through it, get where you need to go, dry off your feet with a paper towel, put your sandals back on. Now you do the inside and, but where you were waiting 3-4 hours before, I'm going to say right now, most wait times are about 30, 45 minutes.
Okay. So, your overall thoughts on Prey.
Overall, I
actually let's use it. What's your favorite Predator movie, and where does this compare to your favorite?
So up until now, I've always been a huge fan of the original because it was original. I've enjoyed the majority of them for one thing or another. Aliens versus Predator and stuff, really disappointed in those. But the original still always held a place in my heart. This for me, I put it literally right next to the original. I felt that it was done in a respectful way. It was action oriented. It was entertaining. I did not at any moment go, like you said earlier, how much time is left? Are we there yet? Mm-hmm. When it was done, I'm like, holy shit, that was it. Oh man, I hope we do another one. So I really, really enjoyed it. And I put that up there with the original Predator. That's my personal opinion. I know some people are going to be like, you're nuts. But I'm seeing that a lot of people really think this is as good. And some people think it's better than the original. I don't know if I would go that far per se, right. But I definitely put it up there. So it's right there tied for, we'll call it second place, but tied for first with the original.
I compared, like, the first one for me is I compare all of them to the first one, just because it's the one that it kind of, it kind of made the mark. Number 2 wasn't bad, but it was like, it was one of those was like, they tried to think of, okay, we're going to make a sequel, because the first one was really good. But we're just, let's put it in LA instead of in the jungle. Let's put it. And I was like, I never really bought the second one. The Alien versus Predator ones, I liked the fact that they made the connection on screen. I mean, they obviously did in number 2, where because
you saw the skulls
in the comic world, they were all like, it was like, oh, are they going to, because they were both Fox properties. It's like, are they going to make that connection? And so at the end of 2, they're like, hey, all of us comic nerds were like, they made the connection. And then Dark Horse started putting out the Alien versus Predator. They had the Aliens comics, and then he started doing the Alien versus Predator comics. And I thought that was cool. But when it came to the movies, it was just like, really? Like, it's the first one was okay, but the second one really wasn't. So the Alien versus Predator movies, they were entertaining, but they just didn't buy them, I have always liked Predators. And for those of you who don't know which one that one is, that's where you have some warriors that were from different cultures that basically were kidnapped and put on a world to be hunted. I think that's an underrated sequel. I really do. However, when I take Prey, I do agree. It's not better than the original, but it's a very close second. And then I would actually put Predators as a very close third.
No, I really enjoy Predators as well. And unfortunately, I think that the best thing that they have done when it came to the Alien versus Predators from a visual standpoint was Capcom made a game called Aliens versus Predators. It's a 4-player game. That was great. That was a phenomenal game. But that was like in the mid 90s, I think is when it came out. And it had the right mythos and everything, but the movie's entertaining. I'm glad they did it. But for those of us that, again, the comic book geeks, we read the Alien versus Predator comics, and we read the Predator books, and we read the Alien books, and the movies didn't live up to what they could have, their actual full potential. But there is that hope that now with Prey, if somebody was to say, hey, listen, can we right the wrongs that were done before? I think they have a chance of actually doing something without having to worry about whether it was, getting the toys. You know what I mean? Because I think it was a big thing with Alien versus Predators, they had the toy series and stuff. You always have to wonder, we talk about the Hollywood of element, how much of it was, well, you can't do that because we got to sell toys. You can't do that because we got to sell merchandise. Well, you can't do that because Burger King won't give us the Happy Meal, or the kids meal, whatever. So I'm interested to see if this will lead to more either Predator movies that stay to that basics or potential crossing over again of Alien versus Predator. Predator 2 wasn't the worst. I got it. We were in a jungle and now we're in an urban jungle, right? And what's more urban jungle than LA? I mean, a lot of places, but costs are down because you're all right there. So I got it. But again, same thing. It wasn't bad. It didn't capture me the way that the first one did. When they showed the xenomorph skull and his ship, I was like, oh, holy shit. So
I think we all just kind of creamed our shorts when we saw that.
Just a lot. Take a whole box of wet naps and clean up. But yeah, no, just amazing. But I think this is able to, regardless of how anyone felt, I don't think anyone would disagree that this is kind of gave new breath to the Prey series or the Predator series, and could and hopefully will lead to more movies in that universe. I'd like to see them play outside of Earth. I'd like to see the Space Marines. Give me something totally futuristic. Don't have xenomorphs in it, but give me Space Marines and a Predator. The ship crash lands and the Predator finds them, or he was already there hunting something else. Holy shit, found you! Yeah. Awesome. Give me something. But I also like something where just like we have had with the other Predator movies, I'd like to see the Predator win. It's not always about humanity coming out on top. I'd like to see, the which I don't even consider them necessarily to be a villain, but to see the title character. I'd like to see the title character win one. Mm-hmm. They have, but I mean,
well, and then you also have, and honestly, I've only ever seen it once, but the newest Predator, I think it was called The Predator.
Yeah.
And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to make an appearance in the movie, but then backed out for whatever reason, because they wanted to make that connection. But I was excited for that movie, but then I was kind of let down because I was like, really?
Yeah.
So I'm really glad I didn't get the letdown. Like I was like this one, I was excited for it, and it's just like, it just gave me as a fan, just not of just Predator of the universe, but also for just an action movie itself. I just really enjoyed it. So yeah.
Apparently the documentary that we're shooting has decided that you can't see my face again. But
it's like, sir, I know you can't identify yourself, but can you tell us more about what's at Mar-a-Lago? Since you're
all I can say is that the documentation may or may not have been planted by other individuals after the lawyers were not allowed to be inside. But I can't tell you who I said that from and where I saw that.
You gotta love technology, Tom. See, Tom, it is my fault. Your Hulu didn't work, and now my camera's not picking me up, even though I'm sitting right in front of it. Yeah. Granted, it's starting to lightning again, and although
it's picking up on the flashes and focusing.
Yeah, it's popping over there.
Which just means that your face isn't flashy, Rob.
It's My pearly whites aren't coming through with the slight tinge of yellow from all those years of coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah.
I'll have to bleach them again. Never done that. Don't plan to.
Okay. This has been fun. I've
fun.
been looking forward to this show because I really want to talk about, because we actually really haven't had time to talk about it off.
No.
So
we've both been super busy.
This is good. So,
and thank you to everybody that jumped in and shared your thoughts and
Yeah.
opinions. I mean, that's what this is here for. It's not we're right, you're wrong. All right, I got to change this. There we go. It's not a we're right, you're wrong. It's literally this is what I know you and I both have talked about this before. This is what we like. We want that interaction. We want somebody that has a difference of opinion to state it, and it encourages us to then go, okay, I see what you're talking about. Let me go back and rewatch that with your mindset or with the complaints that you had or the thoughts that you had and rewatch it and see, not necessarily to change my mind, but to see if we can go, yeah, I see what you're talking about. I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we had a lot of interaction.
And it's also one of those things where, like the first time I like to watch a movie, I just like to watch it and enjoy it. It's the second time I go through where then I can nitpick. And of course, you having, some history in film, and even Dion, he has some history in film, not acting wise, but just watching a ton of film, that just noticing little things, and just knowing different, so it's like we kind of pick up different little things, but it's like going back and rewatching. It's like, oh, now I can see what they were saying, or even picking up on that stuff that we missed because we were so into the movie.
Yep.
It's like the first time I watched Star Trek IV there was a joke that was said on the bridge right at of the Klingon ship as they were leaving, and you're laughing at this joke between that Spock makes or whatever. It's just kind of funny, but you're laughing, so you don't actually hear Scotty saying, "Let's go get George and Gracie."
Right.
Until you're like, oh my God, I completely missed that because I was laughing at this funny scene. So it's just one of those where it's like going back and rewatching it and catching those stuff that we missed. So,
absolutely. Because there's always going to be it. I mean, it's just you, myself, and three other people could sit down at the same time, watch the exact same movie in the exact same place. We were all going to walk out with a general understanding, and then certain things that stuck out, and all of them are going to be different. So it's all that's when you and I first started talking about this, because we were doing it offline. This is, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I didn't catch that. Back when we were doing the live or the post viewings on Thursday nights of Lower Decks and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, I forgot about that. That's the fun stuff for me is learning something new that I may have missed, and then be able to go back and watch it and interact with people and be able to be a geek.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we still have two people. We actually had quite a few people watch today, which is awesome. So if you're still watching, thank you for hanging out. There will be no show tomorrow. At least no planned show. Like I was saying, if I go live tomorrow, we're going to be on the road. I'll be with my wife. So, for all like 400 people, all 512 friends of mine on Facebook will tune in, but it is what it is. But yeah, so no planned show for tomorrow, but if you see me pop up in your notifications, then I've decided to go live. And then really no show, at least no planned show for Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because I'll be in training on Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll be on the road again Wednesday. So again, I might actually stream from the road. So no major stuff. If we looking at this, we've got a bunch of stuff happening this weekend. We've got, and then Still not too late to do the one day thing with Brannon. But if you are in the area of Jacksonville, Statesboro, San Francisco, try and take advantage. Or even where was it in Colorado? Fort Wayne, was it?
Yeah, where Chad's gonna be at.
Where Chad's going to be at. All good material. And then She-Hulk is on the 18th. So where does that's actually next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Yeah, so She-Hulk is on the I'd like to see what potentially that's going to turn into. So
I have sounds so weird to say. I have no high hopes for it.
Well,
I'm excited for it. Let me be very clear. I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to it so much that I am refusing to have hope. I just want to watch it and enjoy. God, did it again. I just wanted to watch it and enjoy it. Like that's really all I want to do. I don't want to try and compare it to the comic books because I've read them.
Right.
I like the character. I just want to enjoy it for what it is and see what they're setting up. Daredevil's supposed to be in it, or at least
exactly.
Matt Murdock, not necessarily Daredevil, but it's alter ego. Setting up for the reboot of Daredevil coming out. So there's some cool stuff they've got planned. I'm excited because it's gonna be fun. And I think it's tomorrow on Netflix. I think it's it's called Daywalkers. I think that's what it's called. It's the Jamie Foxx and it's the vampire hunter kind of like.
Oh, I think I saw something.
Is that what it was called? Daywalkers. I got to look this up real quick because I have it on my Netflix thing. I saw it this morning and I'm like, yeah, it's on my list. And then I shot past it and let's see, Daywalkers. Netflix.
Because I seem to see there was something with Jamie Foxx.
Daybreakers.
Okay.
No,
is it a series or is it a movie?
Well, see, that can't be right because that's. Hold on.
Because I watched a limited docuseries. It was like I Killed My Dad.
Yeah.
On Netflix. It was just 3 episodes, but it was interesting. This teenager kills his dad, and then you come to find out that his dad kidnapped him when he was younger and beat him. And so it's like, okay, well, is this a self-defense thing or what? It's very, very interesting.
So I definitely don't have the right name because it's not pulling it up.
Okay.
Let's see, Netflix, Jamie Foxx.
Well, did you IMDb Jamie Foxx?
Yeah, that's what I do right now. Day Shift.
Okay, yeah.
Day Shift, and it is a movie, action comedy, actually directed by Jamie Foxx.
Okay. So this is funny. I just opened my app, and
there you go.
Day Shift and She-Hulk are right next to each other.
Nice. He is a pool cleaner that leads a double life as a vampire hunter to give his 8-year-old girl a good life. So I remember I saw the original trailer. I'm like, oh, that's going to be great.
Okay.
So I'm going to be watching that tomorrow, and I'll let you know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just want to see She-Hulk because I like the actress.
Yes.
I loved Orphan Black. I don't know if she's ever won any awards for any of her acting, but she should have, just for her portrayals of all the clones in Orphan Black.
Yeah,
because she's just super, super talented. So, because I'm not like I never read the She-Hulk comics, so it's just like, okay, am I going to enjoy this show as a show? Because I never really read the Daredevil comics, but I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a great show.
See,
it was much better than Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. And Daredevil's one of my personal favorite characters, especially with the Frank Miller and then the John Romita Jr. runs that happened. Just absolutely brilliant storylines have come through with Daredevil, and the TV show really, truly did justice to it.
Yeah.
So I'm very, everybody played well, cast well, so I'm excited to see what they do. I think it's supposed to be a continuation. But it's supposed to be kind of like what you see in Hawkeye. Again, spoilers, folks, where Kingpin comes back and he's kind of lost his empire. He's trying to rebuild himself after the snap. We're going to see the same thing with Daredevil. Like, did he leave? Was he one of the heroes that was still here? Didn't get wiped out by the snap? And that's why he's still prevalent in all these other shows now as a lawyer, because that's what he did. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things that they can do with it, and I'm excited to see how it pans out.
Well, John says, curious how She-Hulk, since they seem to be going the route of Oberyn's run. Where
John Burns, he missed the J, but yeah, John Burns' run.
Oh, John Burns' run.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is based on. Is John Burns'
run.
It is. I am very hyped. And that's, again, the comic book geek in me. I'm really trying hard because I really liked it. Really trying hard not to set the bar. Because if I do that, just like with Hawkeye, I love the series that was based on, I can't remember the team that did it off the top of my head, but that introduced Kate Burton and stuff. So I'm really excited to see, that they did a really good job with that. They did a good job with Moon Knight. They've done really all Marvel stuff across the board has been good. Some people will say, well, some of this is mediocre because you didn't like Loki or you didn't like whatever, but I still quality across the board with the Marvel stuff. DC needs to catch up, but canceling Batgirl is not the way to do it. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Sorry, soapbox. I'm off.
Yeah, no, that's worry. And we
don't know who I am anyway.
We kind of went off on. I was trying to close the show, and then we went off.
Not normal,
but
it's
like that. Coming up, just continuing to talk. So
okay.
So closing out the show. If you have watched this long and you still have not subscribed, do so, because if you watch this entire thing, especially offline, that means that you found this interesting. So we got more interesting stuff.
Here we go.
Subscribe, like, share, all that really cool stuff. And as
flashlight on my phone, it still won't. I was trying it. It still won't. No, didn't.
Oh, that's funny.
I have to start doing that. Oh, there it goes. I have to start doing my lighting kit. I'll pull out my lighting kit out of the garage and light my whole technology.
That's funny.
It's all my fault.
So anyway, you probably won't see me for a little bit, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday, but definitely I will be back next Thursday, and then show will be on as usual. So everyone be safe, have a great weekend, and we will see you all in a week.